fisher folk,
Filipino fishermen.
Fishermen themselves.
Fishermen, still fishermen. Fishermen are being pushed to the front line of the China-Philippines disputes in the South China Sea. And it all traces back to one name, the KBBM program.
In June 2025, the Philippine government officially launched the so-called Kadiwa ng Bagong Bayani Mangingisda KBBM program, with Bagong Bayani Mangingisda meaning the new heroic fisherman. The program began pilot operations in May and was formally rolled out in June.
Our investigation, based on open source data and information from sources close to this program, tells a very different story. What is framed as economic assistance is in reality a state-backed maritime militia initiative. It represents the latest evolution of the Philippines' gray zone tactic and its victim narrative in the South China Sea.
Today, we expose how this program really works. When we search for this program on social media platforms such as X and Facebook, something striking emerges. There is virtually no organic discussion. Nearly all content originates from official government channels. The messaging is tightly coordinated and uniform. These videos follow the same script: economic support, grateful fishermen, and praise for the Philippine president's vision.
First, let's take a closer look at the power structure behind the program. This chart lays out the hierarchy of the KBBM. At the top sits the Philippine National Maritime Council, established by the President Marcos Jr. in March 2024. Beneath it is the so-called WPS National Task Force, which coordinates the entire operation.
The Philippine Coast Guard acts as the executive arm, working in tight coordination with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Information control and narrative dissemination are handled by the Philippine Information Agency.
The KBBM is framed as an extension of the Bagong Pilipinas, or the New Philippines vision, the administration's central propaganda line under President Marcos Jr.
Next is Operational Command. Admiral Ronnie Joe Galvin, Commandant of the PCG, oversees the maritime deployment. Under the KBBM, vessels such as the BRP Cabra and BRP Teresa Magbuana are deployed. Aircraft escorts and fisher aggregating devices are also part of these operations.
This further confirms that the PCG functions as the executive arm of the program. However, Ronnie Joe Galvin is not the public-facing figure. Instead, lower-ranking officials are far more active in shaping and pushing the message. This is how the PCG's propaganda is delivered to the public.
That figure is Jay Terriallo, spokesperson for the PCG. From frontline videos and staged fish purchases to fuel and ice distribution, and paired with provocative remarks targeting China, his X account serves as the primary source of KBBM-related content online.
The PIA plays a central role in messaging coordination, reposting PCG content and packaging missions as success stories to its controlled media channels.
How does the KBBM operate? It's based on so-called Kadiwa model. Under President Marcos Jr.'s Bagong Filipina framework, it extends Kadiwa from land-based markets into maritime operations, purchasing fresh catches directly from fishermen at sea.
On the missions, the PCG personnel operate from the fish carrier MV Mama Lakaya. They purchase the catch directly from fishermen at above market prices, a subsidy mechanism designed to incentivize participation. The BFAR provides logistics support, including transport and supplies.
According to sources, preparation for the KBBM program began as early as late 2024, with training and small-scale trials conducted near the islands and reefs illegally occupied by the Philippines. Plans are already underway to expand the program in 2026 and 2027.
Since the program's official launch, an analysis of the spokesperson's posts shows missions occurring roughly every 40 to 45 days, involving 30 to 50 fishing boats each time.
Where does the funding come from to sustain such a long-term systematic program? Most of the funding comes from PCG's national budget, but external actors are also involved. For example, in October 2025, the US and the Philippines announced a $2.5 million cooperation package, a 3-year initiative specifically for the PCG, including extensive training and advisory support.
We also noticed a familiar figure, Ray Powell, He is a retired US Air Force colonel and also the director of the so-called Sea Light project. Whenever the Philippines stirs up tensions in the South China Sea, he always voices support for the Philippines against China. Predictably, he is involved this time too.
The KBBM is a state-managed information operation embedded in geopolitical rivalry, aimed at inflaming domestic populism and amplifying the Philippines' victim narrative in the South China Sea.
All available analysis shows that international support for or references to the KBBM program on social media remain extremely limited, with virtually no public endorsement, likes, reposts, or positive commentary from foreign governments, officials, or institutions.
So what is the KBBM really about? Not protecting fishermen, but placing civilians on the front line of maritime confrontation and turning their presence into political stakes. Calling fishermen heroes does not make this strategy noble. It makes it more dangerous. That is the reality behind the Philippines fisherman narrative.